You're watching KTN Prime. Thank you for staying with us. Now, CORD is proposing to give each MCA 15 million shillings. How sustainable is this? Ben Kitili probably is going to answer some of the questions that are on your mind concerning this.
Indeed, Linda. Let's move that conversation a notch higher. Let's bring in economist Karethi Murimi to this conversation, which has been stealing the limelight for a few days now. Thank you for joining us, sir. And we did see a few, I think it was last week, 12 billion being promised by Jubilee to the MCAs, and as they try to counter what CORD is doing now. What is this that CORD is doing? Are we seeing a situation where they're trying to counter that, or is it necessary?
Let's start by, you have what we call political competition. So when one says 12, the other one increases by a certain figure to 14 or 15. But from what we call the debate on the table, whether you talk of the figures or not, we are not exactly hearing what I would call the real issues. The real issues is that Kenyans did devolve certain functions, and I don't think that is a debate that anybody is arguing with. The question on the table should be, why are all the MPs, both CORD and Jubilee, not focusing on the actual costing of the functions? Because if you cost what we call total health, you cost what we call total agriculture, you release what we call the money for the county roads from the national government, you release the money for cooperative, local tourism, which is all devolved, the figures we are talking about would not be 45%, would be actually giving the county government plus or minus 58%. And the debate needs to shift from what I would call political good figures to real figures. The real figure is that you must match the work with the resources. And those resources are the ones we are saying, by leaving them in the center and not allowing them to go where they belong, then you are making the country go through unnecessary noise.
So you say, we're trying to answer this question, why 45%? What
it has no basis.
It has no basis, that's what you say?
Yes.
So
I'd remember the origin of 45, because I think it's important for people to get this figure. When the debate on how much we have given counties started, the parliament, which is basically the National Assembly, came with a figure of 43%, if you remember. The 43% was the 226 billion, which they have allocated, divided by the revenue of 2009-2010. At that time, the National Assembly did argue that the 2009-2010 was the latest audited accounts. And if you remember, you have held various interviews on KTN where the leader of majority is on record accusing the opposition of not having approved the latest accounts of last year so that they increased the allocation. Which argument is actually not necessarily correct, because the same constitution on Article 229 requires the Auditor General to audit the accounts of the ministries within 6 months. So technically, Parliament had no basis of using 2009-2010, because constitutionally they should have used last year's budget. So what I'm saying in short is that the debate we are arguing on is actually the unnecessary part of the debate. The debate should be, we give the county government the work of health. Any money called health should not be sitting in the center.
Nairobi. Let's talk about 45. You say it could be more than 45%. You've crunched these numbers for months now.
Yeah.
What figures are we looking at that could be going
officially,
to the
when all functions as are in the constitution are respected, and basically we are here talking for purposes of the benefit of our viewers, we are talking of Article 187 of the Constitution, which requires that you release the resources to go to where the function is. The moment we respect that it is not a debate of one government to the other government, it's a debate of the same Kenyan wherever he is sitting. So if I'm in Nairobi and I'm sick, let's say in Dadora, the nearest hospital to me should be able to treat me. So we are not talking of devolve the money so that you make me happy. No. We are saying I should get the service of the work that I have said in Schedule 4 where I am. Those monies for those works are the ones we are saying, if roads releases the money for county roads, in other words, the governments at the county level start doing the roads using the money. The public works, which is belonging to the county, goes to the county. So the county starts doing public works budgets for public works. Those figures, which we are calling 45, will shock Kenyans. They will go slightly beyond 15.
Finally, final question, Bwana Muremi. You say the figures could go beyond that. Now we have seen
not
problems.
Could, they will.
Yeah. We've seen problems already, health services being paralyzed across counties because of delays between the counties and the control of budget. So wouldn't we see more of this, dangerously so?
What we are having, and I think Kenyans need to be very clear on this, we are having what we call procurement games. We are having what we are calling self-preservation. The figures which are supposed to move from national government to the county government, the people making them not move is because they want to continue procuring. So it's basically a corruption issue which we are dealing with here. We are not talking history, we are talking of real issues. 50 years down the line, the medicine has never reached the lower level. What magic will the national do to make it now reach, assuming you are saying it remains the national? So I think we need to respect Wajiko. Wajiko in 2010 said, remove these things and take them here. I think Schedule 4 needs to be costed, and this is where now Treasury, the President, and the governors come in. Because within Article 189, we have the summit, which is the President and the governors. They need to open the box and remove all monies and put them where they belong in the various governments, number one. Number two, the 15% should be based on the last year's budget, because Article 229 requires the Auditor General to audit within 6 months.
Yes.
6 months means December 2013. And finally, we need to help the inside, which is the bureaucracy, the central government. Technically, they are aware that if you remove the money and take the county government, which is what the Constitution requires, their jobs will appear idle.
Yes.
So there is a self-preservation of wanting to rule,
which needs to be gotten rid of.
Which is not wanting, they are actually acting against the Constitution. And this where now the Transitional Authority, the Commission of Implementation, the Council of Governors, and the President through the summit need to come in.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I have a feeling we shall be calling you here more, and we need more time to talk about these issues and what exactly the debate should be about devolution. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.